What's up everyone, welcome back. Today we're playing Isshin, Two Heavens as One in Historic Brawl. Isshin is a Mardu commander, so red, white, black. Human Samurai, 3/4. If a creature attacking causes a trigger ability of a permanent you control to trigger, that ability triggers an additional time. This is kind of like Panharmonicon, but for attacking triggers instead of enter the battlefield triggers. So we have a lot of creatures that have attack triggers. Mishra is a good example right here. Whenever you attack, each opponent loses X life, and you gain X life, where X is the number of attacking creatures, right? And then there's another clause there about melding it, but we're not worried about that. We're worried about the attack trigger. So that attack trigger, if Isshin is down, and you attack with Mishra down, you get that times 2, right? So what else? Let's see... Selfless Samurai. Whenever a samurai or warrior you control attacks alone, it gains lifelink until end of turn. That one doesn't really matter if it gets doubled. The Colossal Plow is a funny one. Whenever Colossal Plow attacks, add triple white and you gain 3 life. So we'd actually get 6 white mana in our mana pool and gain 6 life. Until end of turn, you don't lose mana as steps and phases end. So basically, you know, if the mana just existed in our attack phase, it would disappear as we move to our second main, right? If it was normal mana, because mana disappears from your mana pool as you move between phases. But this allows us to keep the mana through the rest of our turn. So we would have 6 floating white mana until the end of our turn with this doubled up. It's already good with 3 floating white mana, but it gets doubled with Isshin, right? And so I'm not going to go through every card, but we have a ton of effects like that in the deck. I built this deck to be very creature focused and attack trigger focused. I didn't try to build it in a sneaky way or in a non-obvious way. I did it exactly how the card would, you'd kind of like play it in Commander, right? Which may or may not work in Historic Brawl. We've found that in the past. You kind of have to construct these decks. You usually have to construct these decks a little bit different than you would construct them in Commander, because Commander you have more freedom and more time. In Historic Brawl, since it's 1v1 you don't, but we will find out together, right? And then there are support cards like some of the ones like Selfless Samurai. This is a protection spell, right? Sacrifice Selfless Samurai, another target creature control gains indestructible, right? That's why that's in the deck. Dawn of a New Age allows us to draw cards based on how many creatures we have down, and Spirited Companion, same kind of thing. It's an enters the battlefield trigger, but it gives us a creature to attack with, right? Which can help, you know, some of our other triggers like Mishra, right? So, you know, having card draw attached to a creature is good in this deck because we want to be attacking, even if that creature doesn't necessarily have an attack trigger. Orcish Bowmaster is just a good card, you know, in general, but it can help us pick off our opponent's stuff if they start drawing a bunch of cards, and it creates a body, you know, and the body can get pretty big, which again we want to attack with. So just stuff like that, you know, typical stuff you would expect. And then there are some like bigger spells on the top end, like Goldspan Dragon, right? Double its attack trigger with the treasures. Shadowfax, double that. And Dracuseth, whenever it attacks, it deals 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to up to 2 other targets, so double that, right? But you can see the mana curve is pretty low. I mean, this is our 4 mana slot, and like look how like 80% of the deck is 4 mana or less, and that's because we're trying to get in and smash face and be fast, right? If the creature version of this deck is going to work, we got to get in there quick. So let's see if we can get the deck to work. I'm excited for this one. I know a lot of you have asked for this deck, and we're excited about it. And I finally was able to get the wild cards to crack Isshin and some of these other pieces. So I'm excited as well. If you like this kind of content, subscribe. If you're new to the channel, welcome. If you, like I said, this was a viewer requested deck. Actually, a couple viewers requested this. If you have a deck that you'd like me to try, hit up the Discord in the description. There's a channel to request decks. Request a deck in there, and I'll take a look. I have never seen Isshin on ladder, if I'm being honest. I play a lot of Historic Brawl, and I have never played against this deck in Historic Brawl. So I have no idea what queue we're going to be in. Last time I looked at the you know, S tier Hell queue ladder, it wasn't in the top 25 commanders. So I don't think it's in hell queue, but you never know. Sometimes I feel like Arena doesn't know where to put commanders, and so they just say, alright, well, you're gonna go into hell queue, because we don't know where to put you. This is another card I've never seen before. It's an alchemy card. Or not an alchemy card. I forget what this set is, but it's got a lot of alchemy cards in it. Is it Baldur's Gate? Is that what this is? So it's Simic. Has hexproof, it hasn't dealt damage yet. Whenever it deals combat damage to a player, create a food token, sacrifice a food, draft a card. Triple blue, spend this. Oh, when you do add triple blue, spend this mana only cast blue creature spells. Alright. Well, I guess we're both attacking decks. Yeah, we get to go first, and we have Shieldred, so I think that's a keeper. We have all our mana, too, for getting Isshin down. So we have a turn 2 play, turn 3 play, turn 4 play. So I think that's what we're looking for in this deck. Anything that doesn't come into play... This is battlefield tapped unless you control 2 or more other lands. I guess we'll start with the mountain, and we'll do this next turn, so that we can get Cedh Samurai down, depending on what we draw. Alright, Bowmasters. I mean, it's definitely not going to pick off their commander with the 5 but maybe pick off some of their other stuff, like what they draft out of their spellbook. Yep, we'll take the 1 damage, play Samurai. Again, this is a protection spell, so it just helps us protect our creatures or our commander. Although they're in Simic, so I don't think they're going to have a lot of ways of, or any ways really, of destroying stuff. Although blue does have some, like, exile effects, but that gets around indestructible, so... Really, this is more of a 2-2 than anything. Land tax is nice, although we did go first. We could Orcish Bowmasters and ambush their Paradise Druid. Is that worth holding up mana for? We can attack first and find out. Gains lifelink, because it's attacking alone. 5-head play. Would you like to block? No, didn't think so. Okay. These both come into play on tap, so I'm not worried about which one's which. Do we... No, I think we just put the pressure on them, right? That's what our deck's supposed to do. Let's not be cheeky. We can do this at any time. They're gonna tap their Paradise Druid this turn probably anyway, just to play their commander, so we can do it on our turn if we really care. They have a big blocker, right? Right. Untapped. Shieldred seems pretty good. We can pick off their Paradise Druid. It seems like a little bit of a waste of Orcish Bowmasters, but maybe not, because... I don't know, they're in blue. They might be drawing cards. We can't really attack through the 5 or the 4/5. This has to deal combat damage to me to be effective. Did they miss a land drop? They did. The 2 plays are Orcish Bowmasters or Shieldred, right? I think it's just Shieldred is just the better card. Especially if they're going to try to attack me. No attacks. I mean, we could attack, and then if they block this, we could give it indestructible, but then we just lose a creature, right? Now they have really no way to attack through us. They're only on 4 mana. It's not ideal, but it's not bad. You know, we have, what, 9 power on the battlefield? They found their land drop. Alchemy land, I guess, untaps itself. Enters the battlefield, create a food token. Foods you control have... Oh, that's pretty good. Now their food create mana. We'll see if they attack. They probably won't. Yep. Well, I mean, we can just continue to work our way towards cedh. They don't have a way to stop a flyer right now. We need triple red for cedh, so I guess we already had it, but whatever. It's fine. We could attack with Shieldred and see if they block. Really annoying that that is hexproof, but okay. I'm moving to combat and they are tanking. So, do they have a 1 mana play for green? Like a 1 green spell? Can't think of anything that would be applicable right now, but oh, maybe they have 2. Maybe they have 2 mana because of Paradise Druid. So yeah, maybe they have a. They could have a lot of things then. Maybe they have something to give it indestructible or something like that. Nope. Okay. And tax just to have it down. And then we'll have options here. Shieldred's definitely gonna do work. We might want to let them attack if they try, then Teferi's Protection and kill them on the backswing. Sacrifice a food, draft a card, okay. They get more mana. They can only use this to cast blue creature spells, okay. So do they have some like gigantic Leviathan or something like that? As a haul, right, that's a good one. Spell can't be countered, you have no maximum hand size. Whenever an opponent casts a non-creature spell, draw a card. Okay. They didn't tap their Paradise Druid too, which is really annoying. So let's get this out first. Well, we don't have a choice but to let it resolve. But now every time they draw a card, Orcish Bowmasters will do a damage to them. And so will Shieldred. So they'll be losing... unless it's their first card drawn, they'll be losing 3 life a card. Okay. I think we just hold up Teferi's Pro, right? Because they'll probably want to attack with Nezahal. We could cast this and kill their Paradise Druid. Then we don't have mana for Teferi's Pro. I think it is what it is. Teferi's Pro is better than that play. Right now that does nothing because they have no food tokens. Unless this is a food. Oh, okay, so it's a food. They would get +1/+1. And they don't have enough mana to activate that anyway, right? 6. This is a creature land, so we gotta watch out for that. They're going to draw a card. And we can pick off their Ginger Brute. Or we can just ping their face. That might be better, right? Do we really care about their Ginger Brute? Probably not at this point. Cyclonic Rift. Okay. Resolve. Oh, but we do care about that. I finally did it. Oh, and we got land tax. Yeah. I'll just keep getting red. Oh, I guess we should just get... Well, I guess we should just get one of each, right? That would be the smart thing to do. Towards the Plowshares is nice. They can discard 3 cards and tuck Nezahal, right? They really wanted to get rid of Shieldred, so we're just going to replay it. It is a creature spell, so it doesn't trigger Nezahal. And then we can Swords their Nezahal, which will trigger it. Which will trigger both our Shieldred and our Orcish Bowmasters. So we can kill their Ginger Brute. If they didn't gain all that life, I would have pinged their face, but I want to make them discard cards to protect Nezahal. Yes, 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 yes. Okay, tuck it. Bye. Next. Okay. No attacks. I think we're just going to kill them with Orcish Bowmasters and Shieldred. I'm not too worried about the Nezahal right now. We'll have Dracuzeth eventually, which is also a 7/7. Now you gotta draw out of this. They're not drawing enough cards currently to protect Nezahal forever anyway. Yep. Crazy. Can you imagine scooping a game where you have a 6-7 and a 7-7 and one of them is Nezahal? Crazy. What did they discard? I didn't even look. Otawara, Explore, Peregrine, Took. One or more tokens you would be created under your control. Those tokens plus an additional food token are created. Yep. Pretty good with their deck. So it's like it's a Simic Food Matters deck. I mean, it's a cool deck. Never seen it before. We didn't really do the Isshin thing, but we did do the Mardu, you know, mid-range grind them to dust thing. So good to know that the deck can win in an alternative way other than just attack triggers. Jund, huh? I like this queue, whatever queue we're in right now. I mean, I never see any of these commanders, so this is cool. Jund, flying at the beginning of your end step, conjure a random card from this creature's spell book into exile face down with 3 egg counters on it. It gains at the beginning of your upkeep. If this card is exiled, remove an egg count. So it's like suspend. Then it has no egg counters on it, put it onto the battlefield. Oh, you don't even cast it, huh? So there's like Shivan Dragon and what? Like... won't let me look right now. There's 13 cards in the spellbook. Okay. We get to go first. 2 lands, 3 lands. One of them is Ragavan, but we don't have red mana. Bummer. Bummer, 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 bummer. I don't have red mana with Ragavan. We're not doing anything. We gotta mulligan that. E-Spark, Necropotence is nice, but no black mana. Mulligan. Better. Okay. Shadowfax can go back. Let's start with Ondu Inversion, since it has to come into play tapped. Then we'll go get our Savi Triome, and we'll have all our mana, I think. Maybe we go get a dual land, I don't know. We won't be able to play Boxa for a little bit. I don't know. Seems right to go get the Triome. It's all of our colors. Under no pressure, right? We just an Elvish Mystic. Sounds like their deck is just trying to get to their commander and cast stuff from the spellbook. But I mean, it is Jund, and Jund's a really good, you know, if they built it a certain way, it's really good against their deck. That's a good card. Ambitious, huh? Play our commander. They might have removal. Sure. We'll run it out. They don't kill it this turn, we have protection for it. But we'll see. I don't really know what this deck is trying to do other than get its commander down and get spells out of the spell book. So I'm just gonna kind of play it face up until we find out. Maybe it's Dragon Tribal because of this guy. Dragon Tribal. Could be. Play their commander. Okay, they got a 5/5. No land drop. I mean, I guess they're making treasures every turn, right? Beginning of your end step, it's pretty good. We kind of want them to attack with this, because then we can attack. We can't really attack into the 5/5 right now, though. And we're going to make lifelinking tokens, so we're not really worried about the damage. I am eventually worried about their giant dragon creatures, but not right now. Dragons forward. Yeah, this is a dragon deck. Pretty good against us if they get enough dragons down, because they're, you know, typically dragons are like this. They're big and they have they're flyers, so they can block our flyers. Kind of gum up our whole attacking strategy. I really hope they attack with their commander. Damn. They know. I mean, that's smart by them. We don't have too much removal in the deck either. Not really good in this matchup. Yeah, I mean, I guess we can't hold it any longer, right? Gotta play the land. Let's do this and try to make them lower on resources. Yeah, take action. Oh, we can steal their commander. That's cool. I mean, they shouldn't care because they're getting free value off both their alchemy pieces, which is really hard for us to keep up with, right? Because we're using real cards and they're using fake cards, but it is the way of historic Brawl these days. This one at least I can respect because it's like pretty medium. This is broken, but this is pretty medium. No, we can't attack into the 5/5, so just hold it back. Okay, cool. Sick. Mishra's pretty good. That's what I would take. Yeah. Have the same idea. Roaming Throne, yeah, yep. Alright, I think this game's over. I'd rather play another game than try to fight through this. Yep, I mean, not a lot to dissect there. They put a big blocker down that we couldn't attack through, and we had to mulligan down to... this will be an annoying one. We had to mulligan down to, you know, a 6-card hand because our mana wasn't right for our first couple ones. Even though our first hand was really good, we just didn't have red mana. So, you know, it's one of those games you kind of throw in the trash. Mutual Call of Haste is nice. but all 3 drops is pretty awkward. And a 4 drop. We get to go first. I'd like a better hand. I'd like a more aggressive hand if we're gonna go first. Like this is better. Okay. Yep. Yep. They do live diamond pickaxe. Next turn we can play Robber the Rich, get in there for 2, steal a card from them. Into the north, yep. Create a treasure, cultivate. I'd much rather they use these spells when their commander's not down, so I'm happy to see them ramping without their commander being down, although it looks like it's going to come down next turn. Guess we'll do the Isshin thing, right? Wow, they don't have their big creature down. Look at all those triggers. We make double treasures, we exile 2 things. This has flying, which is kind of nice. Yeah, I think we get the flyer down. We can then attach the diamond pickaxe to the flyer and still get double attack triggers. Because obviously we have 2 lands, which is pretty awkward, but we've still been able to play our deck, which is cool. We're going to play a land, make a copy. At least it's not a mana producing land, so that's cool. Let's attach the pickaxe to you. Trigger, 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 trigger. Nope. I don't think so, right? They can block one of them. Okay. I think this will be good. Now that we have all these creatures down. Yeah, you go ahead and Evolving Wilds. It does double trigger Pock, so that's I understand. We'll see if they have like a 10 mana Eldrazi in their hand. But we're doing what we can. We got them down to 14. Maybe we can Colossal Plow them. I don't know. Wouldn't get through the 8/8. Why are we playing all Alchemy commanders, man? Like, this not normally how it goes, but here we are. I don't know why this is in the deck. It shouldn't be, but okay. During your turn, opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities, artifacts, or creatures, or enchantments. Okay. Is this a soldier? It is a soldier. We can crew this, and it's a 6/3, but then they just block it, right? Not great. Oh, that has reach, huh? Fuck. So annoying. But what do we do? I mean, we have nothing to do. That's so dumb that they have the perfect answer. I guess no attacks, and we just hold up our mana for Unbreakable Formation, draw a card. Force you control of haste. Whenever Shadow effects Lord of Forces attacks, you may put a creature card with lesser power from your hand on the battlefield tapped and attacking. Sweet. Even more mana for them. They can turn all that mana into creatures now. Thankfully, they're only 3/3s, so we can block them pretty easily. But they do count for double. Yep. More mana. I did an Azusa video recently, and I don't like this alchemy card, but I do kind of feel like mono green is so weak that you kind of almost have to make something this overpowered to be playable in this queue. Otherwise, mono green would have no chance. We'll resolve that trigger, and then maybe on the on this trigger we'll do this. That way it doesn't do anything. I mean, that's our only play, right? Can make a flying 7/7. I mean, that's something. Make 2 treasures with the Vanguard and then play the 7/7. Sure. They're gonna block everything, but it's fine. We're just doing this for the treasures so we can play Seth and maybe have a chance. Yep. Because this double triggers might actually get us back in the game. This will also help. Okay. We just have to hope that they don't have something crazy and any number of yeah, that's like that, yep. Anything with reach? No, just a lot of trample. A lot of card draw. This might actually be good in this matchup. Who knows? 4 damage to any target and 3 damage to each of the 2 other targets. So we can do a total of 10 damage across their board. Okay, they destroy that. Kind of already got most of the value. We already got most of the value out of that, so not too worried. Kendris, yep. Alright, well that was my only way back in. Cool. Love playing alchemy cards. Just my favorite thing in the world. Oh, I'm such an alchemy supporter. They should just get rid of paper altogether and just do digital only. It's such a fun way to play. But like I said, I mean, sarcasm aside, the POC is almost necessary because everything else is so much more powerful than mono green. Mono green is like the weakest way, even weaker than mono white in my opinion, because mono white at least has removal. Right? Or mono blue, which at least has like mass bounce and counter spells. Like mono green is like really dependent on kind of exploding like that player did, right? You have to like explode into value, and Azusa just doesn't cut it anymore. You go first. 1 lander. 2 lander technically. We keep getting to go first, too, and we keep ending with these god-awful hands. Kenrith. Could be anything. Last time I played Kenrith, it was like a reanimation deck. It was all it was like Kenrith Reanimator. So if that's the case, then Leyline's great, so we'll keep. And we'll find out if my guess is correct or not. Do this first and make it enter tapped. Might as well not take the 2 damage. Okay. Do you. Boots. Set up for Isshin. Maybe we'll do Squee, because it's a hasty creature? I don't know. If we just play Isshin, we won't have any mana to protect it. Okay. Yeah. We can come back, so we're okay if they use removal on Squee. And it starts you know, building us a board. Obviously, it's better with Isshin down, but I'd rather they spend removal on Squee than Isshin while we can't protect it with boots. Next turn we can do Isshin and equip it with boots. See, they had removal. But now we're gonna have a harder time with that. Now we don't have any attack triggers to double because token doesn't have an attack trigger, but the rest of our deck does, like Mural over here. And we can bring Squee back eventually. What's the it's like escape, right? Paying 4 and exiling 4 other cards from your graveyard. Yeah, they should have just said escape 4. I'm not sure why they spelled it out like that, but that's essentially what it is. It's an escape ability from the graveyard. They might just be trying to get to Kenrith. Lestis, yep. Gain some incremental life, loot a little. Okay, this creates treasures. This punishes them hard. What do we do? Flying. Yeah, I think this works. Kind of shuts them down a little bit. Can't do stuff on my turn. What does it say? During your turn, your opponents can't cast spells or activate abilities of artifacts, creatures, or enchantments. Pretty good against Kenrith. They can still activate it on their turn, but that means they have to spend their mana on their turn to do it. They lose the instant speed advantage of all this stuff. Depopulate, okay. We still have boots, so we can still equip it to whatever we play. Maybe we equip it to Sheoldred. That's a pretty good play. We don't have the mana to replay Isshin and equip it. But we can equip it to Sheoldred. And the clock starts. Would you like to draw a card, opponent? Or better yet, would you like to loot with the Celestis first? Come on. They're thinking about something, doing something in their upkeep to not take this damage, or they're salty roping me. Because I fought through their several removal spells and board wipes, and their whole graveyard's exiled. Thanks to Leyline. I still don't know what this deck is trying to do, other than just like 5-color good stuff Kenrith, but they, looks like they're not going to try to play it out. Looks like they're just going to salty scoop. Oh, maybe not. Oh, would you like to resolve the trigger? Would you like to loot? Come on, draw the card. You know you want to. I know everyone's sick of Sheoldred, but I will never get tired of this card. They were talking about it today on MTG Goldfish's Commander podcast about how they need more cards that punish card draw, like Sheoldred or Orcish Bowmasters or Underworld Dreams, things like that. There's so, like, everything nowadays that gets printed draws a card, right? It's like, you know, attack with your creature, draw a card. Play, you know, this sorcery, draw a card, right? Everything is a cantrip. So they were talking about how they need to add more, like, draw card hate, and I totally agree. Sheoldred, and obviously Sheoldred's like the best one out there right now. But I love effects like this. Because, like, maybe not in 1v1, but in, like, Commander, you know that there's those players that sit at the table and they, you know, they have their Simic deck and they draw 30 cards and they don't actually, like, win the game, but they sit there and they draw their deck. Like, those people need to be punished. And right now there isn't really anything to do it. I'd also welcome spells like a red spell that's like, you know, for each card in your opponent's hand, do 2 damage to them, right? Something like that. Because it's like it's not like great against someone with 5 cards in hands, like, oh, you did 10 damage to me. I mean, it's decent. But like against the 30, you know, card player with their Reliquary Tower, no max hand size, you know, and you slap that down to 60 to their face, that would be fun. It would make people who like to hoard cards in their hand and just draw a bunch of cards really nervous. We have to go first again, which is awesome. But the mana. Whenever pirate you control attacks, choose one that hasn't been chosen this turn. Okay. We're playing what? Infinite, another alchemy card, or alchemy-ified card. I'm not sure if this is a real card, but it has alchemy text on it. This is an infinite loop where you just go through the dungeon a million times and kill your opponent. So I guess we just try to get in and smack them. So Swiftfoot Boots will help us do that. Hello, opponent. I know you've probably never played Magic in real life, but it's normal to look at your hand and decide what you want and take 5 extra seconds. Guardian Idol. Okay. I might have removal. I'd rather them remove this. Oh god, is this person an emoter? I might just mute them. I'm not into emoting. To me, everything past like the first hello is disrespectful. It's all BM. Door? Yeah. Ramp. Next. Nothing. What is this? Whenever you cast a creature spell, each opponent... Yeah, I think they're just trying to set up their combo. Yeah, I think that's fine. We'll give them stuff to worry about. If they're not going to put down creatures, let's just beat their face in. They're just going to try to combo off. Like, we got to do this quick. Yep. Okay, our first real Isshin turn. Yep, so they essentially have to win this turn, which they may be able to, I don't know. I watched a video like a year ago on this deck and how it works, and I kind of forgot. I know they just have to keep casting it, and eventually if they have like Paradox Engine, they can like do it infinitely, and that's how they win. But they also might be able to gain enough life this turn incrementally to get out of death range, but I'm not so sure, especially if we get Mishra down. But that might be what they're banking on, if they get just outside of death range. Arcane Signet. Sure. Okay, they have a blocker. Prevail 1, it's just a 1/1 flyer. Okay. Try 3. I'll have to do the math this turn and find out if we can kill them at 15 life. Okay. Yep, nice. Good turn for them. However, I think they're gonna have to block with everything they have here to win, or to stay alive. Tapped and attacking. This would be good, tapped and attacking. Yep. Well, I don't think we need the extra mana, so we'll just have it enter tapped, I guess. This has haste, so this would be good to put down, and then we get another creature down, but we wouldn't get this ability. So what would be best? They can triple block here, but they're still going to take 6 to the face. We can play Shadowfax, and then they can't block everything. We can pump our team, which doesn't really do it. We can play Mishra, and then they'll take 6 plus, so 9. I think pressure is the way to do it. Yep, so 3 damage to each opponent, 3 damage to each opponent, create a treasure, creature can't block, forgot about that. They already can't block anyway, so you can't block, so we'll force them to get rid of their Jadar. Put this creature down, tapped and attacking. And I think we did it. You can only block with the 1/1. Good game, they say. Yeah, I think we did it. Boom. Good game. They were very close to comboing off. They had Cloud Key and Bantu's Monument. And they were about to start doing all that dungeon value over and over and over again. Whew. Okay. Yeah, right play to do Shadowfax. And if we had another creature in our hand, this would have been doubled, and we could have done 2 creatures down, tapped and attacking. But yeah. All right. Cool. I'll do one more. There definitely are some like key attack triggers matters creatures that aren't in this deck. If you look up like a list online, there'll be some ones that you'll notice that aren't in this deck. I just don't own all the cards in MTG Arena. I put the best ones that I owned in here, but there are some better ones that you could swap in and out. So, you know, take a look online at other people's builds, and you can see those extra cards. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but they do exist, and they're worth looking at. Smothering Tithe, Tome of Legends. This is a really high mana curve hand, although for attacks, put a page counter. That's pretty good. But we don't have red mana. And they have a 5/5, right? 4/4. 4/4. Okay. There's a world where this works out, and there's a world where this goes awfully. But let's do it for the memes. If we can get this down turn 2 and this down turn 3, we have a pretty good hand. We just need red mana for our commander, and eventually double red for Goldspan. But Smothering Tithe will take care of that. Okay, that's a land, and it is a red source. So we're a little off of our curve, but that's okay. We fixed our mana. Alright, cool. The lands are coming in. Yeah, let's just get this down. Keep up on their value while they're still low on mana. Because once they get Omnath down, they're gonna get a lot of value from their deck. So we kind of need to keep up. And that's fine. That ramps us. So they want to trade their land for, I think we can get any land in our deck, right? Yeah. So let's get the Triome. I will take that trade any day of the week. And now we can Goldspan. And yeah, we'll definitely do Tome of Legends. The treasures now count for 2 because of Goldspan. That's why we're able to play Tome. And since our deck revolves around attacking, this kind of works like a Phyrexian Arena, where it's almost just as consistent because of the way our deck is constructed. I forgot they put this in on Arena. Wreaking havoc on Modern right now. If lands you control are every basic land type. Maybe that's just for land color fixing. I don't know what else they would use this for. We could hold up Mortify for their commander. We could get double triggers, which is good. Gives us more stuff that we can do. Gives us a ton of mana as well. It's instant speed, right? Yeah. So let's crack a white. Draw a card. Colossal Plow. Probably not this turn. Let's just hold up Mortify. I think that puts us in a winning position against this deck, because they're just going to want to play their commander. 8 of Judgment. Okay. We still have a ton of mana. That's fine. That's their whole turn. Pass. Turn. Yeah. So what do we do? Wedding announcement, Mana Tithe? Or, Smothering Tithe? Think so. Keep the mana flowing. Wow. Gonna give me a ton of treasures unless they pay for them all. They must have been desperate to get a land down. We could destroy this, but I think we'd rather use it on their commander. They're very far behind us. We don't need to pay the life for that. We can get Isshin down. We draw a card. Okay. They probably have removal, right? Well, let's make them use it. We have so much mana, I don't really care. I guess we'll crack a treasure to draw a card. Lightning bolt would be nice. Next. Get in there for 1. Sure. Make another 1/1. If they don't pay for this, then we'll be able to mortify them on their turn. Yeah, that's fine. Again, I don't really care about you using your removal on my commander. It's just making you not able to cast your own commander. I have a lot more mana than you do. Pass. Okay. Yep. Do we play my commander again? I think so. Next. Dawn or hold up Mortify. I mean, Dawn, I guess. Because they're going to keep trying to ruin my commander. And that's at least what they've been doing. So let's at least get the value while it's down. Okay. Squad is pretty big. They're dead next turn unless they put a creature down or remove my stuff. We do have Lightning Bolt too, so we just need to get them down to 6. Okay. We don't have to do this with my commander down, right? Yeah, no we don't. Resolve. That's their whole turn. Take action. Commander costs 9 now. Pass. Draw a card. Something with haste would be pretty cool. Haste? Vigilance Trample. Okay. We could draw another card. Probably worth it in this position. We'll still have 8 mana, right? Drawing lands is not it. How much mana do we have left over? 3? We could do this and hold up Mortify. We could do this and go wide. Probably this one. You have a counterspell? No? Okay. Well, we reapply the pressure, and we'll draw a card on our end step with Dawn. This gives everything haste, so we could win next turn if, depending on what they do here. Cyclonic Rift. They bounce all my stuff, but we can gain haste. Is there anything I can do with this treasure to not waste it? Yes. We can lightning bolt them. Yep, give me all my stuff back. It actually kind of helps me have all my stuff back. Pass. My turn. Okay. Well, let's be careful with how we spend our red mana. Let's do Swamp. Red for Ogoro. We have 2 other red mana. What's the biggest creature? Is it this guy? Right? Yep. 8. GG. Boom. What a weird deck. It's like 4-color control. I mean, they only had... I literally only saw removal, spells, wraths, and mass bounce. That was like... And then the guild pack was the only other thing I saw from them. They didn't play their commander once. Which is a sizable creature too. It's a 4/4. So it's not like... That wouldn't have been a good idea. I don't know. That was a weird one. That's not normally how that deck plays. It's not normally like 5-color control, but you know, I'm a control mage, so I respect them trying. Alright, let's do a deck review. So, Isshin, again, you know, I didn't tune this for Historic Brawl. I tried to build it like you might build it for Commander, just so that we could get as many of the attack trigger, you know, attack trigger doubling to happen, because that's what the deck's about. However, my experience in Historic Brawl is that you usually kind of like, you start with a deck similar to a Commander deck, and then you kind of like take out the clunkier stuff and you put in the staples, right? So if I were to like tune this deck off the top of my head without really thinking about it concretely, I would take out anything that was a little, maybe like excuse me, Dracuseth here, a little bit too high in the mana curve for what it does, right? It's cool when it comes down, and if we're able to have this down, and if we're able to have our commander down, yeah, it would be really sweet. But that's asking too much in Historic Brawl. You know, your opponent is just going to remove it, or by the time this gets down, at least in this deck, they are going to be way ahead of you like they were when we played POC. So I would probably cut cards like this that are a little bit win more, right? And put in some better staples. Specifically for this deck, I would put in a lot more removal. I think some of the issues we faced in this deck was attacking through bigger stuff, like when we played mono green or some of those other decks, I can't remember, but there were some other decks where they put down creatures that were just slightly bigger than ours, and you know, we're gonna come across that when we only have like a 3/4 and we're doing a low mana curve deck, and you know, we have a bunch of attack triggers, but they're coming off of 2/2s. We don't want to attack and lose the creatures. So removal is one. Another would be like evasive creatures, like unblockable creatures or flying creatures, things like that. Like Sky Knight Vanguard was a great one in the deck. It has an attacking trigger and it's a flyer, right? So you can almost guarantee that this is going to get through. But I would definitely, I think removal would be a big thing with this deck. And that way, like, you feel free to attack the other player. If the other player is putting down a bunch of creatures that you don't want to, it makes you not want to attack, then the whole deck doesn't work, right? So I would remove some win more stuff and put in some staple stuff like that. And I would try to go through all the cards in Arena and make sure that I have like the lowest mana curve cards that get attack triggers, and then fill the rest of the deck with removal. And that sounds, you know, I'm sure some of you are like rolling your eyes and that sounds boring, but to get consistent wins in Historic Brawl, you have to have removal. It's a 1v1 format, right? Unless you're like a mono red deck that's just so incredibly fast that you don't need to run removal. But we're playing a 100 card singleton 1v1, right? It's not Commander where, you know, everyone's got 3 other opponents to worry about, and so therefore you have more time and space to develop your board and maybe protect your commander. You don't have that same amount of time in Historic Brawl. So, you know, I always like to build the decks true to the commander, and then maybe later on, like a month later, rebuild it in a more tuned fashion. So maybe I'll do that for Isshin. But I still think that Isshin, you know, played pretty well, given that we didn't tune it for the format, right? And we're in Mardu, so we have some great removal. I mean, we have like Anguished Unmaking and Mortify in the deck, but we don't have like the typical creature removal that you would see in black. I mean, I guess we have Swords to Plowshares, but I personally would run a lot more removal. It's just, you know, it makes the deck more consistent. It's never bad to have a removal spell in your hand, right? Like when we played Omnath in that last game, they never played their commander, so it never happened, but almost the entire time we had the option to hold up, I think it was Anguished Unmaking, right? Or no, it was Mortify. Yeah. We had the option to hold up Mortify, or the ability to hold it up, and kill their commander as soon as they played it, right? Which would have made them spend all their mana to cast their commander, get no value off of their commander, and we get a free attack the next turn, right? Now, that didn't end up happening, but, you know, you can imagine in a normal game with Omnath, they usually slam their commander as soon as they have 4 mana, and they pay the Phyrexian black, right? So they have 4 mana, they pay the Phyrexian black, and they get Omnath down as soon as possible. Well, it's kind of a big creature. It's a 4/4. So, like, what would we have done in that situation? It would have halted a lot of our attack triggers, right? Until we got down maybe Shadowfax, which is another 4/4. But a lot of our creatures are not very big. They just have attack triggers that give us tons of value. So being able to remove the opponent's creatures, especially their commander, is big in this format because the commanders are very powerful. As you saw with a lot of the decks we played, a lot of them just focused on removing Isshin. That was like their main goal, was getting rid of our commander, and unfortunately that works. So I don't think you need to go like full control and like have, you know, 20 removal spells, but I think like a healthy 10 would be good for this deck. And right now I think we only have like 4 or 5. So cutting 5 cards that are a little bit greedy in this deck and putting in 5 efficient answers to things, again, especially because we're in Mardu and we have access to like Despark and Fracture and stuff like that, I think we need more of that, to especially creature removal, just to make it so our creatures can get through, right? Otherwise, the deck's pretty cool. Deck list in the description if you want to download it. Thanks for watching, really appreciate it. If you haven't already, subscribe. And like I said, if you want to suggest a deck for me to play, if you have like a favorite commander on Arena that you really want me to play, join the Discord and get to the request a deck channel and request a deck. All right, thanks guys. See you in the next one. Later.